Imagine sitting on your couch enjoying a peaceful evening when a man aggressively knocks on your window, claiming he's protecting you. But is he? Let's dive into this unsettling story because you will not believe the twists and turns.
Okay, disregard how I look. I just need to tell this story because I feel like I'm losing my mind. Tonight, I was sitting on my couch watching TV, and my blinds were not drawn, so you can see this is my apartment. That is where I was sitting, where those brown pillows are, and eating a piece of pizza at 5:15, and I get a aggressive knock on the window, and it was already dark at that point. So in the moment, I jumped like out of my skin, and the dog started barking. He woke up and was freaked out. And when I jumped off the couch, I looked outside, and it was hard to see because it was dark, but there was a man standing outside the window, kind of like pointing me to the door of my patio, saying like, I need to talk to you, basically. And so I opened the patio door, and my reaction in the moment was I was like very startled. And so I had my hand on my chest, and I was like, what's up? Like, why are you here? And his reaction was to be like angry at me for, I don't know, being startled. So he starts telling me that I need to calm down. And I'm looking at him like, I don't give a shit. Just tell me why you're here. So he eventually, as I'm sort of like trying to de-escalate this, says, I just caught someone taking pictures of you through your apartment window, and I scared him off. And, like basically I'm a good guy, and I'm here to tell you that someone's taking pictures of you through your window. And so my first reaction is to say like, what do you mean? Like, what did he look like? Like, tell me more. And so he says, I don't know. He had a scraggly beard, and he was wearing like tattered clothing. That's what he said. And he said, this is the second time I've seen an incident like this at this apartment. So at that point, he says his name. I didn't catch it. He tells me he lives in the building, and, I thank him, and he walks away. And so in the moment, I didn't know what to do. So my first thought was to call the apartment building and tell them what happened. And the woman said, I'll go and, walk the grounds and see if I see anything. So she never called me back. So then I'm like even more freaked out because I'm like, okay, that she hasn't called me back. There's potentially someone outside taking pictures of people. Like, what is going on? So I get a knock at the door, and I assume, great, it's the apartment. They're here. Security is here to just like check in, whatever. And I get to the front door, and it's actually the guy that had knocked on the window. And so I opened the door because I felt safe enough to do so based on, being in a brightly lit apartment hallway with many other people around. And he says, I'm so sorry. He says, but I've never been yelled at by a woman before. And my reaction to that was to think, you're sorry because I yelled at you, not you're sorry that you startled me. It was just very strange. And so then he hands me a gift, which is a, nicely boxed, fragrant soap. And he says, this is for you. I'm so sorry, and I'm a good guy. And tells me his apartment number, and, tells me his name. He tells me his dog's name. And he says he's leaving for London tomorrow, but if I need anyone to sort of back up the claim that this happened, he's happy to do so. But then he starts to proceed to tell me, I really need to close my blinds, and do I have a Ring camera, and am I sure my windows are locked? And that, the thing that he's most upset about is that he ruined my dinner. and how he hates the idea of ruining someone's dinner. And so in this moment, all I'm thinking is, I just want this guy to tell me more about the person that was taking photos of me, right? Like, so I say to him, like, dude, man, we're good, right? Just tell me what you know about this person so that if I'm walking my dog or I go out to our parking garage, like, I know what I'm looking for. And he just goes back to, like, he's a good guy, and I'm so sorry, but I just needed you to know that this was going on, and you need to be safe, and whatever. And it was just very weird all around. So at this point, I thank him. He leaves again, and I choose to, at this point, call the police to just basically make it known that this happened. Because as a woman, my thought is, if ever something happened again, would they believe me that there was a previous incident? I should just get this documented, right? So the police very quickly, to their benefit, send out 2 police officers, 2 men, and they come out. They don't even come into the apartment. They stand outside. They don't ask, to see anything more. I give them the details of what happened. I tell them the exact story I just said. And one of the officers asked some questions. They both kind of said they felt like the guy in the apartment was most likely the perpetrator. But their reaction was to say, it sounds like he just wanted to talk to you. And maybe he was just a little bit weird. And so at this point, I'm starting to think, wow, this is really disappointing, right? That as a woman, the reaction that I'm getting to this very violating incident sounds like he just wanted to talk to you, right? And when people want to talk to you, they just knock on your windows and they just violate your privacy. And so I said to them, yeah, I just really want to get this on the record. And they said, sure, no problem. If you ever need anything else, we're going to patrol. We'll come back out. And then the second officer says, another woman called us not too long ago, and she's also someone that left her blinds down, and she would be doing things and guys would just gawk. So you should get a Ring camera and you should put your blinds up. And I said to him, I was like, yeah, it was 5:15, right? Like I don't think I need to necessarily feel guilty that I wasn't running to close my blinds at 5 p.m, but point taken. And then as they're about to leave, he says, oh, and one more thing. Can you pull your phone out? I want you to Google something. Sure. Pull my phone out, pull Google up. And he says, I want you to Google women empowerment classes. And I just looked at him and I said, okay, like, I appreciate that, but the level of disrespect as a woman to feel like you've been violated, and that every single person's response that you speak to is to give you advice on how to protect yourself. No intent to go talk to the guy who said he would give a claim. I gave them his apartment number. No intent. Apartment building, didn't even call me back. No intent. The guy himself scolding me for being startled. Scolding me, asking me, why my blinds were down, right? Like, as women, this is what's wrong. We should not feel guilty that at 5 p.m, it's our fault that someone is invading our space. We need to do better. We need to train better. And we need to get to a point of where women's voices are heard and taken seriously and treated as serious infractions that can lead to escalations. Thankfully, I'm safe and everything is all right. But man, what a disappointment in the system all around tonight. I just had to say it.
Okay, so let's break this down. While the man claims that he was trying to warn her about someone taking pictures, his actions did raise some serious red flags. First, a knock aggressively on a window at night or in the middle of the evening, that's not how you approach someone to warn them, especially if you're trying to help. Then he comes back later apologizing about how she reacted, not how he startled her, and even giving her gifts. Now, to me, that feels more like guilt manipulation than genuine concern. And what makes it even more unsettling is how the authorities handle it. Instead of investigating further, they shift the blame onto her, saying that she could have kept her blinds closed. That's not accountability or protection, that's victim blaming. Listen, at the end of the day, we're left wondering, was this man really trying to protect her, or was it all a part of some weird agenda? I think there's more to this story than we'll ever know, but it's a reminder to trust your instincts, stay cautious, and document everything when something feels off. But what do you think? Was this guy genuinely trying to help, or do you think his behavior was suspicious? Let me know in the comments.